I was checking out your website before we hopped on, and I know you do a number of different types of cleans, ranging from like residential to, I think, small businesses or at least commercial properties. What is the general breakdown in terms of the types of customers you're working with?
By and large, the largest customer base we have are recurring residential clients. We do have multiple commercial buildings in the downtown area that we live in Beaver. And I would say there's maybe like five of those.
Okay.
Those are wonderful. I would love to have more, but our residential is definitely our bread and butter. There's just way more houses than there are businesses. And all of the commercial properties we have, they all kind of came to us. And so we haven't done any pursuit or outbound of those. And so I have a feeling there's a large need for it. And I'm looking forward
Sure.
to being able to be a little bit more proactive.
Yeah. When you started on the residential side, how'd you find your first couple customers?
Oh my gosh, I knocked on doors.
Really?
Yes, yeah,
That's
it was a
awesome.
Saturday. I was still working full time, and so it was a Saturday afternoon, and I just literally walked around neighborhoods around my house, and I didn't have business cards. I had a notebook, and I wrote down my name and my phone number, and I knocked on doors and asked people if they needed house cleaning, and I got 3 clients that day, and I was like, "Huh, okay, maybe there's a need for this." Then I started cleaning in the evenings after I would work full time, and it just very quickly became unsustainable. And again, my goal in starting this wasn't to clean; it was to start the business. But I knew I needed to know how to clean if I was
Eh,
going to run a cleaning company. So, yeah, it was super grassrootsy, very like, let's give this a shot and see how it goes.
That's amazing. Before I get into more questions, by quick way of introduction, Julia here is the owner of Jubilee Cleaning. She started the business just over a year ago, or coming up on a year. And in that time has already scaled it to 17 different employees, as well as over $70,000 in monthly revenue. And so we're going to get into what led her to kind of quit a career in medical sales and start a business, as well as the ins and outs of cleaning. So Julia, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
When we were catching up before hopping on, you had mentioned earlier on you were kind of thinking between, hey, do I buy a business versus start one from scratch? I know a lot of the folks listening are evaluating that as well. What led you to kind of take the approach of, hey, let's start from scratch and start knocking on doors?
Yeah. So, after getting lost in a YouTube hole of Cody Sanchez, I was like, okay, we need to buy a laundromat. And so we're looking at all of these local laundromats, my husband and I, and we just realized that it was a little more financial risk than we were open to. This is our first time ever operating or running our own business. And it was just scary. It was scary to think like, man, this is a lot of money. And we don't really know what we're doing. And, certainly we could figure it out and we could learn these skills, but it seemed like less of a risk to start our own business. And the cleaning industry is really special because there's very low overhead, very low startup cost. And it just seemed less risky for us as first time business owners. Like if we fail and we lose $3,000 in cleaning supplies, who cares? you know? So that was kind of why we decided to go that route. And I'm so glad that we did because as much as you think you have the skills required to run a business, you really don't know until you do it. You really
Sure.
don't know until you start from the beginning and you want to quit a million times and you get over that. Um, that kind of earns you the right to get to a place where you can hold other people accountable for
Sure.
what's required to run the business.
Yeah. And I imagine you also got to kind of dip your toes in because you're still holding down a job while getting it started in the early days.
hmm Yes. Yes. So those were very busy days. And my husband quickly was like, this isn't working. You need to make a decision
Uh,
here. So,
That first weekend you got three from door knocking. In the first month, do you remember how many clients you had signed on?
oh goodness, I could find out, but I don't remember. I know we scaled from like 5,000 a month to 11,000 to 15 to 20
Wow.
pretty quickly. So it
Okay.
went pretty quickly. Yeah.
And in terms of your sales channels, has kind of like field sales, boots on the ground continued to be a big channel for you, or have you changed that over time?
Oh yeah, absolutely not. No. So we do pretty much exclusively paid ads, Facebook paid ads. So we have, lead magnet, we use Go High Level as our CRM and we have, a landing page. So everything's over the phone. We don't do in-person estimates. Right now, I'm still pretty committed to over the phone quote calls. I know there's a lot of cleaning companies that have they do more of everything's online and you can do you just put in your square footage and all of that. It's something that I've considered, but I think there's something really special in the customer service experience that starts with that initial conversation because it allows us to provide a lot of customization on the quoting process. Because if you just spit out $800 for a deep clean and that's way outside of someone's range, the way we do quoting, it just gives us a lot of flexibility and a lot of room to kind of play with exactly what the home requires and what's going to make the client happy so we can solve their problem.
Sure. How do you think about pricing? Are you thinking of, okay, how many cleaners do we need? What margin do I need? And you're kind of working up from there, or is there a different approach?
So we start with what the home requires. And so we provide custom pricing. We go one room at a time, one item at a time. And all of that is broken down with how long we think that's going to take. And then we have an hourly price for deep cleans and then an hourly price for maintenance cleans. And we give our maintenance clients even better pricing if they sign up for recurring. And so that's kind of how we approach it based on,
Sure.
the job and the labor required. And then at the end of the day, it works out somehow.
Yeah. And on the maintenance side, are they committing to like 3, 6, 12-month packages? What does that look like?
Yeah, we don't do any contracts.
Okay.
So whenever clients sign up for recurring, they can cancel at any time. And they really like that because there are other companies out there that will just charge you recurring every month, regardless of whether you get cleaning or not. So we don't do that. We only charge for the cleaning that we actually perform, and we pride ourselves on excellent customer service. And so we want to please them. And if they're not happy, I tell them, you should fire us. Like if we're not good, you should fire us.
Right.
And so we do have some bundle packages that I'm kind of playing with. I sold just a few of those, and I don't know. I don't know if it's good for the business. It's really good for the clients. It's good for the clients.
Yeah. On the payment side, do you collect any type of like down payment or deposit, or is there a cancellation fee, or is it really like, hey, you book us, we're going to show up, but if something goes sideways and we can't get access to the home or whatever, we'll come back another time?
Yeah, so we collect a card. We
Okay.
don't charge anything upfront. We try to make as less friction as possible in the booking process. We want to make it as easy as possible to do business with us. And so we only require a card. We do have a 48 business hour cancellation policy. We inform our clients every single booking of this that, we require 48 business hours, which just goes to protect our cleaners' schedules. And this is their way of making a living. And that's how we keep such great cleaners is, we keep their schedules full. And so if we have a last minute cancellation, we can't really fill that opening. And so that's why we require 2 full business days notice.
That makes total sense. On the cleaner side, I imagine early days you're trying to balance you cleaning jobs and being able to like answer the phone for quotes, and it was a lot. When did you decide, okay, I'm ready to bring on my first person?
Oh, pretty early. Yes, because a solo person cannot do an 8-hour deep clean well, in my opinion, because it's just too much work. And so I relied heavily on, and I had an independent contractor at first, and she was amazing. And she was a mom, and her kids were in school, and so that was just the model that worked for me. But it only worked for a month. It only worked to kind of like get us going. And then when I was ready to actually make her an employee, she wasn't interested, and that was super hard. But I just remember learning that, the people that get you here might not be the people that get you where you need to go. And
Sure.
so then we had, I think 3 people. We had 2 full-time and then 1 part-time person. And that's kind of how we scheduled cleans. And then it was so scary to hire someone that we didn't have work for yet, but that's the only way to grow. You have to hire and you have to fill their schedule. And it's just a constant cycle. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Where are you typically finding your teammates nowadays?
Mainly on Indeed. And so we have hiring ads on Indeed, and that's where we get pretty much all of our traction. I mean, I'll post on Facebook and we have some people that are interested, but we're pretty firm on the requirement to have Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 to 5 availability. And there's just a lot of people that are like, oh, I can do 2 days a week. And it's just become a scheduling nightmare. So we're pretty firm on what we need so that we can be successful with scheduling cleans.
Okay. And are those folks typically W-2 like full-time employees, or is it still the 1099?
Yeah, only W-2 employees. And the reason for that is so our insurance covers them. We can train them. I provide all of our own supplies, uniforms, standard expectations. You just don't have enough control over independent contractors because they don't work for you. They work for themselves. And so that's fine for I know a lot of cleaning companies operate that way, but in order for us to deliver a quality experience, I don't know how I could actually guarantee or promise that to clients if I didn't train my people.
Sure.
So
What's the training period look like now?
oh man, we've tried so many different models. It used to be 2 weeks. and we threw our new cleaners in pretty quickly. Like they were expected to pull their weight pretty quickly. We recently just changed it to 1 week of training, and they are basically just added on to the clean with their trainer. And so the trainer is showing them the ropes of everything, and they are not considered billable, which means like the client isn't being charged for that trainer for that trainee's time. They're just there. It's at a cost to the company for 1 week, and we pay them hourly, and then we graduate them. And then all of our cleaners, our graduated cleaners, are paid revenue share, and so they're actually paid commission. That works out really well because they're incentivized to get the job done efficiently, and it also really helps to protect our margins.
Interesting. Where did you come up with that approach to compensation? Because you don't hear that too often.
Yeah. So I actually work with a coach, Logan Manzanares, and he does 5-star home cleaning. And that, I follow his model pretty
Okay.
closely. And I think that's been really the main catalyst of how we've been able to be successful. So that's kind of their pay model.
Okay. And did you start following him early and starting Jubilee?
I did. Yeah. I started with him in August of last
Okay.
year. So literally like right away.
That's awesome. On the cleaning supplies side of things, I've heard of two different models. One where kind of like the homeowner, the client will provide the supplies. Other times the company will purchase them and it's kind of like on your books. What approach do you guys take?
We provide all of our own supplies, and that allows us to have more confidence in the outcome. I mean,
Okay.
if a client is providing their supplies and they're terrible and then they're not happy with the outcome, like I feel like that would just cause
Yeah.
a lot of complicated conversation. So that's just what we've chosen. It could just be a story that I'm telling myself that it wouldn't work the other way. We all tell ourselves stories, but that's how we've done it.
Okay. And then on the scheduling side, I know you all have 17 people here and a bunch of different types of customers. And then you have deep cleans and regular cleans. How do you schedule and kind of bring sanity to that process? What does it look like?
Yeah. So we use ZenMaid, and ZenMaid is it does a really good job, and we just kind of fill our cleaner schedules top down. So
Okay.
our trainers they have full schedules, and then as we hire more and more people, we tell them you have to earn a full schedule, and so they might have one clean a day, and as their schedule fills up, and as they earn more recurring clients, that's how they get more hours.
Sure. Okay. And then on the kind of long-term vision, what are you most excited about next year or two?
Oh man, I'm really excited to hit $1 million run rate. I think I'm going to do that soon. And
You're
so
close.
yes, I'm so close. I can't wait. So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited to move out of out of the day to day operations and be able to coach my office staff. So we have one office person here, and she's doing sales right now. And so I really am looking forward to hiring a second person. And so I can just be more of a coach, and I can continue to refine our processes and create our SOPs. We have a lot of them, but there's some things that I'm like, okay, this is how I do this. And now I need to write it down so you can do it. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the more we grow, the more people we can employ, and the more families we can bless, and the larger reach we can have. And I often tell our team that like the beauty of this business is like we get to enter people's lives at their highest highs and their lowest lows. And this is something that I think I didn't really realize until I started. So my first client knocked on their door, and they said that they needed cleaning. They were this sweet older couple, and they invited me in, and I had a cup of tea with them. Come to find out that they used to own a cleaning company. And I'm like, oh gosh, this is terrible. And so I'm feeling super intimidated. But the reason they hired me was because her husband had Parkinson's. And she's like, I don't really have a lot of time left with him. And I just want to sit outside and watch the birds on the back porch.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I can be a part of this.
Yeah.
And we have clients that will hire us because they're going through really nasty divorces and they need to sell their house immediately. And then we have clients that will hire us because they're getting ready for their first daughter's graduation party, or they just had twins. And, we get to come in and just be a part of the fabric of their family life and these milestones they're going to remember for the rest of their lives. It's just really rewarding. So I want more of that,
Yeah.
more of that.
You have a very mission driven approach, both in terms of why you left kind of corporate America to start this company, as well as why you continue to grow it. As you bring on more people to the team, how do you keep the rest of the culture like grounded in that and make sure that it doesn't go away?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Every single week at our team meetings, we have in-person team meetings every Wednesday where all of our team comes together, they restock. but we go over like wins from the week. We literally recite our core values and our four standards. Like everyone says it out loud. And
Yeah.
then we have people like call each other out. Like, how did you see someone demonstrating the star values? And then my personal growth as a leader has been just holding the standards. I think in the beginning, I was too lax on the standards. And we would recite our standard of we arrive 5 minutes early and people would be trickling in 10 minutes late. And I just let it go for too long. And so I think I finally just got to the point where I'm like, if this is the standard, I need to hold the standard. And so once you hold the standard, it just does its job. And I'm like, I don't have these problems anymore because the standard did its job and I'm finally holding it. So it was good.
It's hard early on because you're like, holy crap, this person is willing to join my company. Like, I'm so
Mhm.
lucky. But then like over time, you're like, wait a second, that cannot be how you manage a team.
Mhm. Yeah. So, holding the standards high. And I tell people the standard is high here. This is not like a normal job. I have high
Sure.
expectations of you.
Yeah.
Um, and we have had to allow people to choose to leave because they're not happy with the standards. And that's super hard because I'm very relational, but it has grown me as a leader. And I think it's also just grown the respect of the other team because we have people that do meet them. And
Sure.
if I don't hold everybody accountable, it's just really not fair. So,
Yeah, definitely. Um, as you've grown the company, like you started from zero and you're trying to toggle both like reinvesting for growth, but then also some amount of compensation for yourself. I know your husband works and contributes. How do you think through like, what do I do with the profit? Are you in the mode of, hey, I'm just going to reinvest like crazy the next 2 or 3 years? Or like, what is your thought process on that?
oh man, I'm so inexperienced in this. I'll be transparent. I'm not really sure how to handle it. I took my first paycheck in March.
Okay.
So we're an S corp, and so I'm on payroll. So I just took my first paycheck in March, and we're finally starting to like actually turn some profit. And so I'm not really sure how to handle that and how to reinvest that, and where is the best way to invest it in the company. Is it marketing? Is it supplies? Is it training? Is it bringing
Sure.
another office person in before I can afford them? I don't know.
Yeah, that's very fair. Looking back on the past 11 months, what were the big waypoints where it was like really hard? You hit this kind of like checkpoint into growth.
Oh my gosh. You just wanna quit all the time, every
Yeah,
month. I'm like, "This is too hard. I need to get out. This is way harder than I thought. I thought this was passive income." Such a lie. Not true. I think yeah, I mean, there's so much self-doubt, but it sounds crass, but I just had to keep telling myself, like, "There's a bunch of dumber people that figure this out.
yeah,
Certainly, I can figure this
yeah,
out."
yeah,
Like, I'm a smart person. I work hard. I can figure this out. And so I think you just have to get to the point where it's like, no matter what happens, I can learn from this situation, no matter
yeah,
how hard it is or how stressful it is. And also just like lowering the stakes. It's like, if I fail, I fail. And I would
sure.
be really proud of myself that I tried. And when I'm 60 and I look back on my life, this was a big motivator of why I started. It was like, when I'm 60 and I look back on my life, am I going to regret not starting when I was in my 30s?
Yeah,
Probably. And I'm like, now's the time. I need to go for it, or I'm going to live with that regret for the rest of my life. I just need to go for it and be okay with I might fail.
yeah,
So,
I love it. In town, do you have a group of fellow small business entrepreneurs that you kind of use as a support group or bat ideas around? How do you find that camaraderie?
I don't locally. That's something that I would love to be more involved in. Our the coaching group that I'm in is really amazing. So, we're in a school coaching group. There's a cleaning business owners, residential home cleaning business owners all over the country and in Canada. And so that has been so essential for me to learn from other people's mistakes. It's just helped me skip over mistakes because I've seen other people deal with them, and
Yeah,
same with me. Like, I broadcast all of my problems and I'm like, "Oh, what do I do?" And so, that community has been indispensable for me because I mean, it definitely would be helpful to be closer with local business owners, but to be in a community with other people that have the exact same business model as me. They're doing
sure.
the same system, same processes, same client, same pricing, same hiring model, same marketing model. It is so helpful. I
Yeah.
can't even say enough.
Yeah. If you were chatting with someone thinking about buying or starting a cleaning business, what advice would you give to them?
If you're interested in buying, I would say like you really need to understand the recurring revenue that's there because, you know, if I look at my books for August and I have goals for my weekly revenue, if I only have $8,000 on the books, I got a long way to go for new sales that I have to put on that week. But if I have, $15,000 of recurring revenue every week, just the opportunity to grow, and there's more points of failure. And that's the one thing that's really great about a residential company compared to like a solely commercial company. Commercial companies probably have higher revenue marks, but they're less points of failure. So you might have like a $50,000 contract and you lose one. That's a big deal, right? Like if I lose one residential client, it might be $300 a month. You know what I mean? So I think understanding like the spread of how many clients, what your recurring revenue is, just because that provides more of a safety net. Obviously, understanding like key man risk. Like I got a lot of key man risk right now. I'm doing a lot still. So that's my biggest goal is to help myself kind of get out of that day to day. I think understanding the systems that are in place and understanding business systems just generally, like you have to know how to run a CRM. Like you have to know how to do that. And I think a lot of times people just think that's like, oh, I'll learn that down the line. Like you got to figure that out right away because it will keep your head on straight.
Sure.
And then I would say like training and hiring process is really essential in this business specifically, because that's the real business you're in is hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you don't have cleaners, the only way you make money is to have cleaners cleaning. So
Yep.
you have to have cleaners. So
Awesome. Well, Julia, thanks so much for the time. If people want to check out Jubilee, where can they find y'all?
yeah, just online, jubileecleaning.co. And then we have Facebook, Jubilee Cleaning Services, and we're in Beaver, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is really great.
Yes, thanks for your time. It was good to chat with you.
Awesome.